The goal of this video is to show how you can build a production-ready Rocky Linux 10 template that deploys in seconds. And for this, we are going to use Cloud-Init. And this allows you to inject, for example, SSH keys, set host names, create accounts, and install packages. And this automatically upon the first boot of the virtual machine. Welcome to Home Tiny Lab. My name is Christoph. In a home lab, we are used to manually install a lot of operating systems. And this is all fine for a few times. But after a time, it's a waste of your most valuable resource, and that's time. So to start with the demo, I will deploy a virtual machine using a template that I have already made and with a first Cloud-Init file that I have created so that we can see how fast that it really goes. So we will select new VM. And then we are going to select the template that is already made. Then we go to custom config and I will select already a user config template that I have created. I will deploy it in my test network and all other settings I am leaving at default. And now I will create a virtual machine and I will let it run real time so that we have first-hand experience in how fast that it goes. You will see that he has done some things and now he is rebooting. This is something that I have configured. What is happening? I have set in the config file to install new packages or to update the release if needed. And to be sure that it is taking a new installed kernel, I let reboot the system so that I am sure that it is okay. So now it is booted up. It has set the hostname to Rocky server 01 and it has some packages installed also, but we go deeper into this when I explain how you can set up your template. Okay, so let's remove this created virtual machine. Okay, let's create the base virtual machine first. So the normal Rocky 10 template, let's call this the YouTube demo, no description, XC ISO, we are going to use here the ISO. And it is the minimal ISO that we are going to use. So we want to keep our virtual machine as low profile as possible. And I am going to select my test VLAN to deploy that machine. All other settings also default. And let's click on create. This is the way that you normally install a virtual machine. And it is not booting up because there is something wrong with the storage. Let's scan this, reconnect the storage. Okay, this is done. Let's go back to the VM. Better to have a look at the non-running VMs for this. And let's start it up to see if it is booting up now. Okay. And Now we can start installing the minimal Rocky Linux 10 virtual machine. A side note is that you have for Rocky Linux 10, if you have older server gear, it has to be from the Aswell generation and more recent. Otherwise, you will not be able to install or to use the Rocky Linux 10 distribution. You will have to go back to Rocky Linux 9, but there will be not a big difference with I am doing now. Okay, and let's select English as language and continue. Keyboard, that's something that I have to change. Belgian keyboard. Let's remove English. That's done. So language support is good. Time and date for me is also good. Installation resource, okay, it's from the ISO. Software, be sure that you have the minimum install and nothing else selected. Installation destination, the 14 gigs is selected. Network host name, okay. Current host name is local host. That's what it has to be. It has to be localhost. Let's go to network, and here we will already disable IP6. Something that we will have to script also in the virtual machine afterwards, but I do already here disable because my home lab is only running on IP4. Okay, done. Let's create the root account, and for purpose of this demo, I will enable root account. And here is the password. I will allow root SSH login with this password. In production, don't do this. Work with SSH keys if possible. Then user creation. I will create one user with administrative privileges. Require a password. Something that you don't have to do, because you could create it with a Cloud-Init script also. But I am creating always a second account. And now the installation is started. This is something that I will fast forward. We all know that there is a big difference in installing this way already and with what I showed off with the Cloud-Init version. Okay, by the magic of video editing, this went really fast, and now let's reboot the system. So now we have our minimum install that is done, and we have the name localhost. I'm going to eject the ISO from the installation, and I will mount the guest tools ISO. I'm going to have a look at what the IP address is that has been assigned to this virtual machine, and it is 250. Out of this, and I'm going to log into the system with the root account, and I have to remove the keys that I used in a previous virtual machine. And let's try it again. We are logged in. And to prepare the virtual machine that we will convert in a template as a last step, we have now to update the packages, and there will be packages to update because it's not a recent download of the minimal installation of Rocky Linux 10. And then after this, we have to install the Cloud-Init package. And then we have to install the guest tools because we are using it in the XCP-ng hypervisor. Okay, packages installed. Now we are going to, or updated, better said, and now we are going to install the Cloud-Init packages. Okay, and now we are going to install the guest tools. And this is done. And the next step is that we will have to configure Cloud-Init for XCP-ng or Xen. And for this, we will have to create the data source list to use and enable all the services needed to execute Cloud-Init correctly. So let's do those steps. So the first one is done with this command, and then the second one is enabling the services for Cloud-Init, and you see the complete list here. So let's execute this. And this is done. Then an optional step to take is to, in my case, to be certain that IP6 is disabled. And that is done with the following command. So this will be executed at startup also each time. And let's load this into the system. Okay. And you could also do this with the network management CLI if you are using the network manager. Let's have a look if it is disabled. And we don't see eNet6 in the network interface configuration, so far so good. And now the other steps to do is to clean up the virtual machine. So we will execute Cloud-Init clean logs. So this is going to work better. And then let's clear the history, and I'm going to terminate this a little bit abruptly because what I'm going to do is to power off the system with sending a stop signal. And the virtual machine is stopped working. So the next step is one of the easy ones. That's to convert it to a template. And for this, you go simply to the virtual machine that you have created, that you will use as a template, and you go to the advanced tab, and then you can convert to template. If you click on this button, the virtual machine will disappear and there will be a template created. Oh, you sure want to convert this virtual machine into a template? This operation is definitive. Okay, so if you click on none, you will see that there is no virtual machine present that we have created. It is now a template. Now you have seen that I have selected when I did a little demo in the beginning, Cloud-Config file, and here in settings, Cloud-Configs, there is where you can store the different config files. So there is only one that I have used for the moment, and that's the Rocky 10 example. If you click on the edit button, it will be filled in Cloud-Config, and here you can make some changes. So I am going to leave it like it is. You will have to explore a little bit what you can use, but there are some interesting modules activated here. So the first one is to set the host name, and then the fully qualified domain name. Manage also etc host true, preserve host name false so that localhost is not preserved. And here the SSH password authentication is set to true. If you don't put this in here, you will not be able to log in with an account and password to the system with the SSH session. Then I put the packages. Update true, package upgrade true. Then I install some packages, and then I do a run command. You could also do this with other modules, but the run command to update the packages works the best and is the most stable. And after that, I automatically do a system reboot so that I am sure that my most recent Linux kernels are loaded. So this is the place where you can create your Cloud-Config files. So if you have other operating system, you can create there one for Ubuntu, for Debian, or for several applications that you want to restore very quickly. It's there that you can do it. Okay, so now that we have done this, we are going to launch a new virtual machine with our freshly created template. So new VM. And let's have cloud. I always call this cloud. And there should be a YouTube version. Let's do this differently. There it is. I did not set Cloud-Init. It's best to use a fixed naming scheme so that you can find it easily back. This is my bad, but okay, I will destroy it afterwards. No description, I will leave it like this. Then custom config, and here again the Rocky 10 example. We already know what it is going to do. Test network, and let's create. And it is launching. Oh, let's go to console so that we see a little bit what is happening with this creation of the virtual machine. So if you would not do a package update and not insist on doing a reboot, this would go very fast. It would be under 30 seconds, and it is already fast because the DNF update was probably no packages to update. And it is rebooting. So the most time is almost in rebooting the system twice, in fact. And here we are. So we have our name, Rocky Server 01. Let's go to general. The management agent is present. So the IP version 4 record should be populated with the IP address that the virtual machine received. So here is the IP address. I'm going to copy to the clipboard. And then let's go to the SSH session and use root again. Paste the IP address. Yes. And I am logged in, Rocky Server 01. And I installed curl, I think. Okay, so curl is installed. So this is not in the minimal installation, if you didn't know that. If you would really install things like a pro, you should or you could use then SSH keys that could be loaded with a freshly created account, and for that you would use the module users. Another thing that is very interesting, sometimes things don't work out. You have created your config file, but the local host is not changed to the name that you wanted to have, or users are not created, or packages are not installed. For that, there is only one location, and that's going to the log file of Cloud-Init. Where can you find that log file? In most cases, it's always in the var that you should go look, and then there is the log. And I think that you should already see a Cloud-Init output log or a Cloud-Init log. The output log is the one that interests. We're going to have a look at it. And if there are errors when you did installation, it will be in there. So this is your file of truth. If you have errors, you will find them in that file. And with that, you can do some research and you will find normally the solution. We are at the end of this video. So we have seen a cool a way to really deploy in a quick way virtual machines. And I think that this will help a lot of home labbers, because home labbing is experimenting and breaking stuff. So it is really easy if you have a way to really start from scratch again and to deploy it really quickly with the packages that you need. So if you are still watching, thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video. And don't forget to like and to subscribe. See you in the next video with more XCP-ng and Xen Orchestra automation.